Welcome to Catch Her Spark with Jen Maldonado. These are conversations with women who are building meaningful careers, stepping into leadership, and designing life on their own.
Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited about our guest today. There's a moment every transformational leader remembers to the one where you stop asking what's broken and start asking what is possible. And for Kristen McCreight, that moment has played out 1,000 times over in hospital hallways at 2 a.m, in classrooms shaping the next generation of nurses, and in boardrooms where she dared to say, hey, empathy is not soft, empathy is a strategy. It's connecting with human being. And she is by title, yes, a doctor of nursing practice, a certified patient experience, professional, and a business owner, an entrepreneur. But ask anyone who sat across from her, and most likely they're going to tell you titles only tell you where she's been. They don't tell you who she is. And that's why we have her here today. Who she is someone who believes fiercely, and I can feel that unshakably, that humans matter. And this is like a bright light, a North Star. So I want you guys to help me welcome Miss Kristen McCreight. Hi, Kristen. How are you today?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me.
Yes, I am super happy to have you. I mean, your career, your experience, your humanity got our attention because you have done things differently. You're a professional, you're a mom, you taught your kids homeschooling, which is challenging too. But let's start sharing what you do, and then we're going to get into managing all the things you do at the same time as women. So tell us a little bit, Kristen, what do you do in your career and what you are most passionate about your career?
Absolutely. Well, you gave an amazing intro because truly everything we do is about human connection. And so as you said so well, our credentials only take us so far. It's how we communicate. It's how we give empathy. And so that journey started for me pretty young, actually coming into high school. And so what I am most proud of is that I am the mom of 5 grown children. My son is 39 today, and my youngest turns 39, and my youngest turns 30 Saturday. So I have 5 children in that age range. And I did homeschool, so I love that I had an impact on teaching them and building into their future. Then I would say really 3 things: being a mom, then also helping to start a local crisis pregnancy center in my community back in 1994, and being asked to come back as the executive director and CEO, and then going on to be a nurse. And the opportunities that I've had, and then being married to my respiratory therapist husband, especially during COVID, there were such impactful moments where humans needed each other more than we've seen in maybe generations. And so being able to really navigate the day-to-day, the crises. So I've been doing that for 15 years as a nurse. And I feel like that's a huge, people need us now more than ever. We've got a whole population that is desperate for being able to trust. And we've got to make that connection.
Yeah, I mean, you bring such a great point, Kristen, and maybe I don't know if you can talk about this, but I know that in the healthcare industry right now, from experience, from my family's experience, there's a big challenge. And to your point is, how do we create trust with the patient? How a nurse, a doctor stop being like the person that look at someone like a number and someone that we have to pass, and create that environment where these person come and trust you with their health, with their life, because that's what people do. I have a fascination about the healthcare industry and the people on it. What are your thoughts on how do you create that experience for the patients, for the people going into the hospital? That's question number 1. And question number 2, you are shaping the future of these people who are going to be creating that trust. What is one advice for them?
Absolutely. I'm gonna explain. There was a point in time when I was recently the director of education and director of patient experience. And those who speak healthcare know that patient experience, or what they used to call patient satisfaction, has become a very high measured. And there's healthcare professionals that are kind of salty about that. They're like, so you're telling us that matters more than us doing a good job. So there was a time where the facility I worked at was actually at the bottom of our organization. And when I evaluated, assessed what was happening, I saw the human connection is what was missing. So you have like nurses or doctors going into a room speaking at rather than sharing with. And even something as simple as what we call bedside shift report, where two nurses come in and whisper to each other but forget all about the human in the bed. So when we dialed into that, we actually took ourselves from the bottom of our organization to the top of our organization, and we stayed there. And so realizing that humans really want to trust. We need it, especially at a time is so important as crisis healthcare. You don't go into a hospital and not be in some kind of crisis, even if it's your puppy that's left at home while you're stuck in a hospital bed. So really being able to hear and not just speak over. And we therefore made the connection. They want to feel cared about. They want to feel that they understand because it's their body. What else could we possibly do than invest in that? And so being able to be a professor in academia, I finished my doctorate in 2021. That is one of the most important things I can tell the healthcare future is that they want to feel safe. The human that you're caring for, they want to know that you have expert knowledge, but that you also see them as a human. Yes. And validating that, they will absolutely put there's actually a study, and it's a wonderful book, where they did studies to see that when a doctor or nurse makes that trust connection, even if it's just a second of eye contact, that you actually get a physiological response where their anxiety goes down, their blood pressure gets better, their recovery time improves because you actually made them feel safe.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful gift that we have in how we connect to each other.
I love that. I love that. I mean, I saw my mom is one of those nurses retired that she loved it so much. You can see it on her eyes, and caring for people is what she does best. And it's one thing I admire about her. And she comes to the room and she makes you feel warm, safe. And you're like, I don't know what I have. Just heal me, mama. Heal me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that between being a nurse and having the heart to be a nurse, it's where the magic is happening. And what has been your experience? And I don't know also if being a mom helps you on that purpose. Tell us a little bit of your history about your career, how you handle 5 kids with homeschooling while dealing with developing your career.
Absolutely. Well, I would tell any person, especially women, you've got so many things to juggle. And there's cliches out there about a woman's work is never done, but truly realizing that self-care, of course, matters. There were times as a homeschool mom where we had to take an extra recess because mom needed to go take a breath. I had my weaknesses for sure. Algebra was definitely not my strong suit. Fractions were tough, trying to teach those ambiguous things. And so what I'll tell us is what we do. I don't ever say I'm the smartest person in the room. What I believe is I have tenacity. I have dogged determination. I have the drive to say I may fall down, but I'm going to get back up. And so when I did need to have that extra recess, okay, kids, I'm going to give y'all 15 minutes, and I'm going to take some breaths. And that really served me because it's the same when we go into the hospital setting. You may have a patient that is, or a doctor even, who is fit to be tied. And how we come into that, we really have to teach us how to work into those without bringing the gasoline, so that we don't actually come in and make something worse. So I think raising 5 kids taught me so much of how to endure and how to maintain my patience. My kids would tell you that I definitely wasn't always successful, but being able to maintain that, and then how to get through nursing school, and then how to get into the healthcare and deal with all the dynamics. So everything makes us stronger when we let it do its good work in us. And remembering the greater purpose is you are literally getting a chance to invest in others and make a difference that could be forever.
Yes, I love that how you have take your journey as a mom and turn it into an endurance, right? Journey, adaptability, because it sounds you have to adapt at many moments. And I think one of the biggest challenges for women in handling kids is you get to know who you really are and your blind spots and the
Yeah.
great things that you do, but then you can use that in your journey to be a better professional. And that's how it sounds to me when you're sharing your story, how you took your lessons learned from teaching your kids to now taking it to humanity and healthcare. I love it. I love it. Now, I'm going to ask you this, and probably it's a simple question, but why did you decide, or what was the reasoning behind, I'm going to teach my kids homeschooling instead of going through the traditional way?
Yeah. Well, because I'm an '80s girl, so and I won't say that you should stereotype the '80s, but there were some bad decisions made, and of course, I got pregnant my senior year of high school was one of my pathways, and realizing that there were some outside influences that my parents, of course, couldn't control. I have my own, rebellious tenacity spirit. Sometimes that leads you in a positive, and sometimes it's a negative. Um, but that overcoming that, I wanted to be able to really invest in my children. And there were things I didn't learn in high school. I was a grade A National Honor Society girl, but I wasn't learning because I was just checking the box to get the test and then move on. And so I think I was enjoying homeschooling my kids as much as it was teaching me the education that I didn't pay attention to when I was in high school. Of my kids, I do have some that are actually homeschooling as well. And so, the ones who said, "I'll never do that, Mom," are actually doing it now. So that's pretty cool. And realizing that they see the investment now, they never ever will tell me I was perfect. But who wants to be? What example could I be if I didn't have failings? And so if I can look at somebody else and say, I did it all right and I never fell down and I was just so awesome, then that person's like, well, I have nothing to learn. What can I get from you? And so when I can say, this is the up, this is the down, this is what I did to overcome it, and they could maybe take away something, it goes, okay, you know what? If she can do it, I think I can overcome that as well.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I always said that the best lessons my mom gave me and my dad is just looking at how they were handling problems, right? Never the good stuff, just the challenges and how they keep their character, their integrity, and who they are. And that was the best gift for me, right? So to your point, seeing that journey, being that example is great. And question for you, because you're a leader, you teach, you are a practitioner, you are an entrepreneur too. What are three things that you can share, three lessons that this journey help you learn to then become the woman you are as a mom, as a leader, as a boss, right? What are three important things that you have like in your heart and or somewhere, right? That says this is who I am because of my journey.
I think one of the things that I've learned the most, especially as a young leader, I first became a healthcare leader in 2012,
Mhm.
and I think I learned a lot the hard way that I thought the message I had sent to my team was message received as the way I intended. So one
Mhm.
of the most important things, we need to validate what you think you said versus what they actually heard. This is in every area of life. So this is with your children. You tell your children to go do something, and then they go off and do something, and you're like, but why did you do that? Probably not out of malintent, probably because the message wasn't fully understood. Same with our spouses and our significant relationships, that we think we said something, they heard something different, and now we're at crosshairs with each other. Same thing in leadership and in healthcare. We have to say something with all of our best effort, but don't stop there. Don't assume. Come back and ask. So the message I sent, because if they go, no, I didn't hear that at all, then we were actually setting them up to fail.
Yes.
I think the leader or the person invested in being a mom or the person invested in that personal relationship with a spouse or a significant other has to say, oh, that was mine. I own that. So ownership is huge. Don't point finger first. Self-reflect first. Ask yourself and them. Because if you're looking at them going, why did they go off and do that? That's so ridiculous. I thought my message was so clear. No, obviously not. So check, introspect, validate. Most important thing we can do. It doesn't work too good in the traffic when we're driving, so I can't say that at that intersection, that decision, you're not going to have a chance to go back and correct that. But in all of your relationships of life, ask, validate.
I love that. I love that. And I think in communication is the key factor to create great relationship, great results, great success. And to your point, sometimes we make so many assumptions about what we're saying. And I love the fact that you say introspect, because I think that one of the biggest challenges I have sometimes making decisions so fast in what we do, I don't think where the other person is, where they are listening, are they in the same channel as me? And even if I do a clear message, it's clear to me, but that person is in a different channel. So it doesn't matter. They're just going to get pieces and interpret. So that was one of my biggest lessons, listening, but also delivering a message, but not before understanding where the other person is. So bringing context. Yes. And I think that, sorry.
You're walking down the hall in your hospital, and then you think that somebody's making eye contact with you. They're thinking about a crisis at home.
Yeah.
We don't need to make those assumptions. We need to ask clarifying questions.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Ask clarifying questions. That's the success. Now, Kristen, you have invest in different areas of your life, in your relationships, in your family. What has been the biggest investment you have done?
9 months ago, I loved being an exec. I loved being a leader in a hospital, but I also reached a stage where, and this I think is very important for people to hear, I lost 3 people in my life that were my age or younger to cardiovascular events.
Wow.
And at my soon-to-be 57-year-old self, I did some reflection on what I had achieved, and I'm very proud of my achievements, but what do I also want to sustain? Because I want to make thriving decisions, not just up the mountain. So I also decided, so that's when I made the transition last September to do some level set, because I have people that I need to invest in. I have a mom and a dad who are still alive. I have 5 grown children. I have 5 grandchildren. I have a husband. I have people that are expecting me to be around to mentor them. I have students who need me to be ready to dial in and answer their questions. So I needed to do some things to say, I don't want to just strive, I want to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a time in life where you have to stop and think, what am I doing for the long-term goal? So yes, I have a master's, I have a doctorate, I've achieved this, and this. But now my sustainment plan is, what am I doing to build in the future of others beyond what I was already doing? But am I able to stabilize my life, my trajectory, so that I can be in this for the long haul to invest in others? Those cardiovascular deaths got my attention. And so I made some changes in my trajectory because of that.
I love that. I love that. Changes in trajectory. And I think that to your point, it's when we realize as human how fragile life is, that we realize, hey, it's time to step back. Achievement is great, success is great. And yes, we want to pursue more success, but I think that what it changes is what success means to us. Where do we want to spend our time? And it sounds to me that that's what's happening. So, what would you say that success mean and now that it didn't mean in the past for you?
Absolutely. I see others. People have asked me, Kristen, was it hard to make the transition from that level of leadership that you had in the hospital setting? And I get to mentor more people now than I ever did. And I got to mentor a lot, but my territory, my footprint has expanded where I'm actually getting to invest. And these are the ones who are going to be carrying the momentum forward. So it's actually spreading. What I could do as one person is now being multiplied across so many other lives that technically by me resetting myself, I'm actually making a bigger additional impact.
Yes, I think that paying it forward, right? Impact generation, future generations. And this is one thing I love about women, right? We love leaving things for the future, creating, shaping the world. And I think that that's the part that a lot of people was missing. Like how much a mom and a woman shape communities, countries in the future, right? And we need more women leaders to bring more of that, right? Our humanity beyond success, beyond the money, beyond the power. What that humanity is what keeping us alive as human beings. So I love
I
that.
told,
Now I
I was
have a
going to
question.
say, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead. I was
No,
just going to say, I told my children, back when I was young and homeschooling, and I said, it's really not for my future. I said, what if you're the next president? Or what if you're the doctor who cures cancer? Or what if you're the person who discovers something? So, my investment was not just, it was literally because who knows what their future holds.
yes, for sure, for sure. Now, let me ask you this, Kristen, because a lot of times as women, we focus so much time in everything in our lives and being successful, spending a lot of hours doing what we do. Sometimes we are not thinking about the future. How do we sustain the level of income without adding more time, more things to do so we can have the freedom to do whatever we want with our time. And some women start thinking about investing in stocks, real estate, all of that. Are those any of are do you have thoughts about that area on how do you create that kind of freedom for you too?
I do. I think that you really have to see what your goals are. I probably didn't do everything correct because of, I know I didn't do everything correct, but, being a stay-at-home mom means that I wasn't paying into Social Security, right? And so, people are like, well, you saved a lot of money. Yes. But I also am reaching an age where retirement's also probably going to happen, where when you're in your 20s and 30s, you're like, yeah, that's true. So women who are thinking the long game in their 20s and 30s were smarter. It's just different paths. And that's, I guess the answer is the freedom to choose. The path for me of choosing homeschooling and not actually having a good retirement plan means that now I'm kind of having to make up for the retirement plan now. But do I regret my choice of homeschooling for all those years? Of course not. So you also have to give yourself grace. And if you're starting late versus you're starting early, the main thing is that you're actually in movement. Because if you're standing still, you're actually going backwards because the world is moving fast. Then self-care, you have to find those places to level set yourself. Quiet, whether that's devotionals, whether it's different podcasts that you listen to, but investing in yourself. Then investing in, I call it the concentric circle. So you, then in your small circle, and then expand out from there. Because if you're spreading yourself so far out, you're actually giving everybody just micro amounts of you. And there's people who want to actually have your time. My husband caught me off guard when I finished my doctorate, my respiratory therapist husband, and he said, so are you going to actually spend time focused on me now? And hopefully if women actually hear that part, they'll go sideways and go, wait a minute, did that man actually say that to you? What was my husband saying was, I love you, and I want you, not your doctorate, not your career. I want to invest in the woman I married. And for a minute, I did want to throat punch. My head did kind of tilt. And then I went, what's he actually saying to me? He's saying that he cares and he wants to have quality time with me. So remember those who love you and serve them, because we're not here forever. My mom and my dad are 79, and I am spending time because I don't know what their years are. So,
yeah. Amen to that. Yes, it's such a big lesson. I mean, I was for two things. One, I have that experience where, when you're a successful, busy woman and you have accolades and titles and all of those things, sometimes, you can receive the message, a good intended message in a different perspective, in a different channel. And yes, you want to throw the punch and you're like, wait a minute, this person is coming from a place of love. Let me listen to that love. And that's a lesson I have learned so many times with my partner too. He tends to tell me things and I get all furious and I'm like, okay, calm down, listen to what he's saying. Yes. And to your point too, the value of spending time with those who you love. I had a conversation with my hairdresser the other day, and we were talking about our parents aging. And she told me something that shake me, Kristen. She told me, Jen, do you realize that probably you only have another 15 summers with your parents if you're lucky? And my parents are in Puerto Rico. I'm in Austin, Texas. So I'm like, oh my God. So like I that really shake me. It's like I need to make changes and start prioritizing different things. So thank you for sharing those that wisdom, Kristen. So before I'm sad that I want to ask you so many things, but there's a few things I want to know, right? Because we know about Kristen, the a really awesome professional, the really awesome mom. Your journey have transformed, embrace endurance. But let me ask you this: what are some fun stuff or quirks that Kristen loved to do?
Absolutely. I love food. I love to, my husband and I joke, and my youngest daughter, when we used to go out to eat together a lot, we actually started a food blog because we can actually tell you the little micro changes that you could do to take this food and this experience from here to there. Because it's not just it's the ambiance of the room, it's the noise level, it's the chair you're sitting in, it's the placement of the food, it's all the details. So we actually have a lot of fun going to restaurants and eating great food, but also talking about the things that you could just tweak a little bit. I didn't know that all the general managers really appreciate us telling them what we think. I love to cruise. That is my three. If I can do 3 a year, I'm a happy girl because I do still work full time. But my happy place is on a cruise ship. And then I love just little baby road trips. My husband and I love to just get in the car and take a day trip with you in Austin, taking that run down to Fredericksburg or taking that run up, just wherever. And because just seeing the beautiful world that we live in, having some time away. So if it could be a cruise, if not, it's just got to be some really great food. That's my favorite thing to talk about is where to eat and why.
I love that. I love that. We will have to exchange notes because I'm the same way when it comes to restaurant, from the quality to the experience to the environment to the price to everything. Yes, it's just fun.
It's like healthcare. It all matters.
Yes,
All me.
every little detail. Awesome. Well, Kristen, thank you so much for being so open with us to share your life, your journey, your experiences. And I know the audience will appreciate that so they can see how they can balance their lives, make certain choices, and also go for their career without losing perspective of what is important for them. So thank you
Yes,
so much.
absolutely. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
You've been listening to Catch Her Spark with Jen Maldonado, where bold women lead the way. Ready to share your spark? Apply to be a guest at catchherspark.com/guest.